All right, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. How is everybody today?
Good morning from Ellen. Pretty good today. Nice and
Good,
sunny.
good morning.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
It is Friday. Thank goodness. I love Fridays.
They can't see the hair.
Fridays make me feel good. Okay. Well, let's see how many we got here. Got 20. We'll wait just a second here.
All right.
Two, 22.
All right.
Everyone's kind of got a beach theme up on their backgrounds today. Let's be
Yeah,
in vacation mode. Friday mode.
show you guys see if I can post the bear that was in my front yard this morning or
Yeah,
yesterday.
we had excitement yesterday. I didn't even know there were bears in Florida until now, especially right on the coast. So be careful when you go out there and lay on the beach, man. Might be bear meat.
Here, uh, anyhow, here's a big one. We had a bear show up in our neighborhood last night, and it's a black bear. I don't
You
think
sent
it's
that to me.
something that people are.
I thought it was a joke until I started looking at it. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, he's a pecan.
Okay,
Oh,
well, it is Friday, July 19th, and none of this is financial advice, of course. It's financial education and friendly banter among the group here. NASDAQ and S&P closed at record highs yesterday. It looks like we're a little change this morning on NASDAQ and S&P. Oil's up a tad bit. U.S. Treasury's down just a little. Let's go see how worried the guys. Oh, Chevron. Okay. So Chevron defeats Exxon dispute over Guyana oil assets clearing path for Hess acquisition. So Chevron probably be doing some well. Nothing much else there. We got some earnings today. A lot of earnings. American Express, Charles Schwab, Truist Financial, 3M from Industrials, Regions Financial, Huntington Bank, a lot of financials, Ally, and then Schlumberger. So we'll get a little bit of oil, a little bit of industrial, a lot of financials today. We'll go over some of the charts yesterday of some of the majors that reported. Take this down. One of the things that I know there's quite a few people interested in the crypto world, and yesterday in Congress they finally passed 3 acts, and I'll go over them real quick because they're affecting the crypto. And the Genius Act, this is the one that the Senate had passed, and it passed yesterday from the House. It establishes a regulatory framework for specifically for payment of stablecoins, and I won't go into stablecoins, but it's a big deal on how they regulate stablecoins, who can issue them, what are the requirements for stablecoins, and that is going to the president's desk, and he's going to sign that today. They also passed the Clarity Act, and this is the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act, and what it does is it defines which of these cryptos are considered commodities, and right now Bitcoin is considered a commodity right now, and which are securities. So commodities would be regulated by the SEC, and equities would be regulated by the SEC, commodities by the CFTC. And so they added in here that among Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano will also be designated commodities instead of equities, and that's kind of a big deal because the way that companies can put in their treasuries, they can use commodities where really they can't use equities at this moment. So Ethereum and Cardano, we might see them bump a little bit. Now this still has to go to the Senate along with the third one, which is the anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act, and this is to prohibit the Federal Reserve from issuing a central bank digital currency, referred to as a digital dollar. And there's some concerns that it'll be used like they do in China, where you don't have currency, it's a digital, and they can fine you. They can check on what you're buying. They can limit the amount of gas you buy. Then they can put an expiration on your money. So, once you get paid or whatever, you might have 30 days to spend it, which is a way that they can stimulate economy and then keep people in certain economic states. So that is also going to the Senate. And so this is a pretty big victory, and we'll look at some of the charts of crypto, but that was the big news from my point of view yesterday. That's why you saw a lot of the bumps I saw in the Platinum Crypto channel, a lot of the bumps that we saw there. So let me go here and let's look at some charts real quick. Okay, here's the SPY. SPY, again, rolling up. The intermediate resistance level has disappeared, but we still have the sell order level right above at 632.78. And again, we're going to open just about where we closed. But again, we got this 9 flattening out a little bit. We'll see what happens today, flattened out on the oscillator. So same with the DIA, which is the Dow. Dow still has resistance right here, and that's where we're going to open up. We've been going sideways, and then you see on the Dow, the 9 is actually declining, still declining on the oscillators on the Dow. And then the Qs, again, heavily influenced by the mags, especially NVIDIA. Had a nice run on the Qs, rolling up. We're going to open about where we closed, right above the 9. Got a Bollinger Band just kind of rolling there, right where the sell orders are. About 568 on the Qs, and flattened out oscillators here. Again, you go back and we looked at, Paul Tudor Jones, and we circled it where we crossed over the 200 as an investment. If you just want to be an investor using a daily chart, you're doing pretty well. If you're swing trading, there were some swings in here too, and you currently still would be in a swing right here where we crossed over the 9 and followed it all the way through. We look at, let's go back here, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, it goes through these phases where Bitcoin likes to follow, 100s. It gets to 100 and 105, then 110. So you see, we've slipped from 110, basically, went right up past the 115 level. Now we're bouncing between 115 and 120. So we're sitting right at that level right now, and it's trying to get over the 120. And if you get over the 120, then normally they'll say that it's 125, then 130. So you see these levels. Here's a level. This kind of skipped and then came back up, but we're hitting the 9, still following up. Oscillators are still positive, and we'll see what happens today with the news of the passage of the 3 crypto bills. You can see some of it in the others. Let's go to Ethereum. Ethereum, is being designated as a commodity is going to really help Ethereum. You can see whether you're investing in Ethereum, here's the 200, or swing trading. Once you got, above this 9 and you look down here and you get confirmation, you put in that swing and it's still rolling, okay, on Ethereum. Or, if you're an investor, here you are, but the oscillators still look good, but it's really rolling along that upper Bollinger. So when we look at Cardano, this is the other one that has been designated as a commodity in this bill. Again, it has to go through the Senate to be passed, but again, it took off yesterday too, and following up the upper Bollinger Band, the oscillators look good. So you're seeing a lot of this. Some of you are into is it XRB? Is it XRB? What's the other one? Trent?
XRP.
XRP, sorry.
Yeah.
This one's pretty tied in, and you can see what's happening there. So lots of movement. I mean, we've had all this sideways, especially XRP. And I know some of you guys are in it, and congratulations on this, because that's a pretty good move, in what they call alt season. So another good one there. And then you've got some others. Let's see, Solana. A lot of people like Solana. Again, seeing the same type. Went right along the 200 and taken off above the upper Bollinger Band. So, if you've been in it and you've been waiting, this is kind of what crypto is like. Others that are doing well just in equities, Robinhood, they're in that, working on stable coins and crypto too, and that nice little run on Robinhood. And you can see this would have been a great swing if you got in. Here you come up and get above the 9. You look down, you're crossed over the MACD, you get the confirmation, and that was at 54.07, and you really wouldn't have gotten out and still be in at 49 or at 105.45. So that would be one of the swings of the year if you had gotten into that. It's a pretty nice run. And again, it looks like we're going to open above with the news of stablecoin and all that on Hood. So another kind of a crypto and MicroStrategy, of course. MicroStrategy's come up, hit some resistance, and it's going to open up about where it's closed candle of indecision here. It follows Bitcoin. Bitcoin rises, you're going to see MicroStrategy rise. So that's where a lot of the movement is. In the last couple. Well, this week was designated crypto week, so in the Congress. So again, there was a lot of attention on that, and they did pass those through. So NVIDIA, another nice swing. Get in back here, swing, swing, swing. Didn't get a full candle. And nice run on NVIDIA. They had some good news about being able to sell to China, and along with the rest of the perceived economic wins, you're looking at lower inflation. Still have the fight with the Fed to worry about, and we still have tariffs, which seem to be not as big of an issue as they once were. Meta come right back down. You've got where we're going to open is about where you have resistance. So Meta kind of went up, hit sell orders, and has now been underneath the 9. You can see we've come up and run against down on the 20 and on the 9, and so support would be down here at a Bollinger Band, and resistance right about where we are right now. Microsoft, same kind of thing. Nice run on Microsoft. I mean, if we would have swung on that, that would have been great. Investment wise, they're way above the 200. Again, so the mags, majority of the mags are coming back and really strengthening up this market. We've got Google. Google's been on a pretty good run as it finally got past the 200. Coming up, you get up here, you hit the Bollinger and you move sideways, and we'll see if it runs again today. You're still got support at the 9, resistance at the upward running upper Bollinger Band. You don't have sell order levels until 190.01. So we can see a little volatility, but you can see if you're trying to get in here, it gives you opportunities on these little wicks that you don't have to buy at the top. You can buy, at potentially down here. You might miss them. But again, if you're a bargain shopper, you want to get the best cost basis as you can. Apple's just kind of hit that sideways pattern, playing around with the 9. We'll see what happens. The oscillators are, kind of trending down. Again, we talked about Apple earlier in the week. Tesla, a lot of Tesla lovers out there. Tesla's still hanging on to this 200. It's trying to roll, but again, we're seeing like 4 days in a row, it's just having resistance at this 50. The 50 is rising, but it just can't quite get past that. But, 200 support, 50 high. We want to see this kind of get broken out a little bit. Now the stochastic looks like it's going to, and you're seeing a little bit of a breakout on the MACD. So maybe Tesla has a little bit to run, depending on the momentum of the market today. Amazon has that rolling right up against resistance. Got that rolling 9 over. Okay, resistance, playing between support and resistance right now. We're starting to see the dip of the MACD. So, on a swing, if you got in, you'd probably want to be taking some off the table a little bit, or at least set your stops to protect you on the downside. Palantir's come up, nice above the 9 right here, rolling between the 9 and the upper Bollinger Band, still rolling on the upper Bollinger Band, not outside, which is kind of nice. You got a MACD still growing up here. Got some sell orders at 158.11 on Palantir. Nice, good, slow runner up to the right. And then Netflix. Netflix had earnings. yesterday. And it'll give it to me here. And it was after the bell. I think it's running. I don't know. I don't know what it's doing before the market. Oh, I guess it was down this morning when I looked right here a little bit. I don't know if it's still down or it picked up some steam, but the oscillators are still in the negative side. But this will be, did earnings make it go up or did earnings make it go down? So I don't know where it's at right now.
It looks to open at $1,241.89.
So it's
That's
down.
down about
So
$30.
1,
A
2,
little
4,
less than
1.
$30.
So we're looking at right down here then. Okay. And you've
Yeah.
seen it hit this level before. So not too bad, percentage wise, that's not probably that bad on the stock. That's $1,200. But still, looking at some momentum, we've talked about Roblox. Come on, Roblox. There's a nice swing there on Roblox. Look at that. Between support resistance and 9 and the upper Bollinger Band. And then it just took off again. Got some sell order resistance up at 126.04. But that was that's pretty nice from bottom left to the top right on Roblox. We talked a little bit about CPNG yesterday. Be advised that the resistance level has come up. We'll see if that holds. Got some sells above it. Sometimes, we've hit it 3 times here. Doesn't mean it can't go up and hit sell orders. But again, it did trigger some resistance on CPNG. And let's look at under the 200s. We don't have any really. There's a couple that would be of interest maybe to you. One is Clorox. You can see down, 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 and then we're starting to roll up. We got above the 9 here. We're above the 50. Now we were talking about a little bit how industrials might start to run. Bob was talking about that. We're seeing kind of that in Clorox. So under the 200, this may be something we'll be interested in. I'm certainly going to look at it next week. I don't really buy on Fridays, but it'll be on the list. Another one I'll be watching is Abercrombie and Fitch. You see it came up, came back down, hit support, and now it had a little bit of momentum yesterday. Again, I'm not probably going to buy anything today because it's Friday, but these are things on the list. EQIX, and these are again under the 200. This one came down, it's played with this support level. Now, I want to make sure this doesn't come back down, but these are the kind of stocks that I like to watch. They fall and then catch them early, see if we can ride them back up. I'm not there yet on this one, but these are the ones you watch. And eventually, if they come back up, you can catch the ride. Or if they're like United Health, you're just like, oh my gosh, it's never going to come back up. EQR. Residential REIT is running right along. So it's support level. It's kind of popped up a little bit, full candle above the 9. I don't like these Bollingers coming down, this 50 coming down, but so there's not much upside. So just wanted to bring it up in case someone was interested. I'm probably not interested in that. And then we talked a little bit earlier in the week with UUP, which is the dollar index, and it had a little bit of a dump down the other day, but then came back up. So it's interesting, the dollar's been on a downtrod, and you've got this little swing up. And again, watch out for the Bollingers, and always set your stops for sure. ANET is on our watch list. It's still on our watch list. It's coming up close to resistance. If it hits that, then we'll definitely be out. Always have stops. And, here's where we're in at. This is our cost basis. So be careful. Set your stops. Pull this over. But we're up about 10.5% on that. And then we talked about CMI. Again, Cummings the other day, 3 days ago. And that continues to just plug along the upper Bollinger Band above the 200. It tested the 200 and took off. Got all the moving averages moving up. Oscillators still look good. So this is a good one on the watch list. And then just a couple on the earnings. Yesterday, Abbott had earnings. You can see what happened to Abbott. Pepsi had earnings. Pepsi went the opposite direction. Okay, so they're big moves, either up or down. I mean, that's why on a swing trade, I like to get out before earnings. I mean, I love to catch earnings like this, but you're 50-50 at best, and I don't want to lose, my swings if I'm up 7% on something to have it drop down 15 and all of a sudden I'm out. That's not what swing is about. It's not an investment type thing. Uh, Taiwan Semi had earnings. It's running above its Bollinger doesn't show. Oh, that's not Taiwan. Okay, it is ELV. ELV had earnings. You can see what happened to that. It dumped down. NVS, Novartis had earnings, dumped down. Marsh McClanahan earnings went down. CTOS earnings went up. That was a nice bump. So again, right up to resistance, we can see. But that was a big old candlestick for CTOS. And then some we want to watch, maybe PG. This didn't have earnings yet, but it came down, hit support. It's starting to come back up. Again, I want to get it above that 9, but if we can watch this come down and catch this back up, it's got a ways to go. So this is, initial stage of watching. We're not doing anything yet, but we're watching potential for like a PG. So that's what I got today on this fun Friday. Trent, over to you.
Right.
If you guys want
Yeah.
to look at more stocks, put them in the chat and I'll write them down. After Trent's done, we'll look at them.
All right, so let's review our Morning Edge members' stock picks of 2025. We're only really, 2 days into it. Hats off to Esther, who is in the lead. She picked a killer. Big Bear AI Holdings up 13.38% since the 16th of July. Eric is in second right now at 6.94% with Pepsi.
Oops.
My Sprock up 5.94% in critical materials. Myself up 3.76% in core natural resources. And Bezos with Clean Spark at 3.16%, and so on. So a lot of the positions, granted, 2 days, not even including today, really, 2 days, is up 0.31% in the last 2 days. Got a good assortment of stocks here, pretty cool. Bonk is a crypto currency. This is Tractor Man's. The reason it's not showing up as today's price is because there's a couple of zeros before you actually get to the price of 3.846. It's down today. So it's not, that's why it's showing zero at this point, but it is actually does have a price tag on it. So this is and then of course, Kerry talked about Oscar last week on his Friday call, which we will be having today at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. CoreWeave is presently down 8.19%, but as we can have seen in the platinum portfolio, which why don't I bring that up real quick so you guys can see that, because that's really interesting. There it is.
And this started in January.
This was started in January. Let me sort the results here. And you can see Esther as well as Paul have dominated the top two. Was Navitas and Palantir, up 14.02% since January 10th. David with Iran. This thing has come back in a big way.
It has.
Yeah, it was like big negative in April, May. It shot back up. Paul's got Spotify, Manny with Ripple. That was excuse my language, but in the shitter most of March, April, and May, and was down here at the very bottom, but has recovered. So Manny's recovered. He's up 32.76% since January 10th, and so on. You can see here, I think we approached it with your top three decision, ideas, or top two, I believe. Mark, you're up there with Bitcoin.
Is that enough?
Berkshire,
Huh?
Mark there.
Whitec.
I have hope with Walmart. It's that consumer spending element. I'm still hanging in barely with high yield day HYG. But I feel very confident we're gonna see a blowback. And to the bottom, me and Elon down there at negative
Thanks, Elon.
23.58%. Right. So
It's
yeah,
interesting though,
overall,
Trent. It was like, 4 months ago, this totally was different. And we were like down, weren't we, as a portfolio?
oh, I think we're down into like negative 10, 11, 12%. Yeah. It just goes to show how volatile, in particular this case, it's got a lot of tech, a lot of crypto, and those are the two highest volatile sectors out there right now. Yet they're representing probably anywhere between 30 and 40% of equity and crypto market movement on a global scale. So it just goes to show really how narrow this market is. And this is where I go, like, traditional risk management of diversification really comes into question. And I think that's where you have to have a different risk management process, and that's trailing stops. That's, looking for hedges in a sense. We're talking today, well, we've been talking for like a week or two about industrials and the big beautiful bill and the influence that's going to have. I had beers like yesterday with a friend of mine. He's a real estate developer down here. He's gone from hero to zero during the financial crisis to back to he's now wearing a cape again. He's semi-hero again. And we were talking about the housing market here, and he's like, it's dead. He says, I'm building, $2-3 million homes. He says, and he's like, I'm about to finish one, but I'm taking my time to finish it at this point because the market's not there. But yet the warehouse market, which he's going to build some warehouses, is hot as can be. So it's a different thing. But as I was telling him, I said, have you read the big beautiful bill? And he's like,
That's not true.
no. Huh?
That's not true.
What's that?
Warehouses.
Oh, dude, down
A lot of
here where I'm at,
warehouses. There's a lot
where I'm
up north here. There's a lot of empty warehouses, and actually, Amazon is shedding warehouses.
so I think from my regional perspective, where it's small and mid-sized businesses and it's service industry stuff, like, because I'm in a tourist area, there's a lot of laundromat services and pool cleaning services. There's a lot of bike rental, that kind of thing. You can't find a warehouse space.
So,
Like
are you talking about 5,000 square feet, or 10,000 square feet, or
So I'm talking,
20,000 square feet? There
so
are
like,
different buckets for this
yeah,
industry, and but I will tell you that new warehouses are standing here for over a year empty.
what size?
It all depends. 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, a million square feet,
Yeah,
a
that's not
hundred
here.
thousand square feet. Those are all available. And now the landlords are willing to subdivide those. And typically, you had 100,000. Oh no, we're just renting out the whole 100,000. Now they're ready to
Yeah.
subdivide that space to bring in smaller companies to rent it out because they're not there. And there are more warehouses becoming available every day.
Well,
I think
Brian
Bob
put a note.
for
Well, Brian put a note in, says many warehouses closed in Tennessee. Also, just as a note.
yeah, in our area, so Ginger has a 1,500 square foot warehouse space for studio, and you can't, and those are booked up. Like they're full in our area. And take it, that's a small business. You get up probably 5,000, like you're talking, Bob, where you're talking like mid, categorized like a small company. to mid-sized company,
yeah,
not micro companies, it's probably a much different, like you're saying.
most small companies that are selling products and things like that, they're in 5,000 to 10,000 square feet. But above that, any manufacturing is in 25 or above.
Yeah,
Or
I think it,
3PLs are in 25 or above.
yeah,
But
but it's
3PLs
even,
too, keep in mind, 3PLs are compressing also.
what are 3PLs?
3PLs is companies that ship your stuff, right? So let's
Okay,
just say you sell, let's just say
distribution,
that, yeah, distribution, and let's just say that I manufacture products and I don't want to deal with shipping and the logistics of it. You give it to a
Yeah.
3PL and they take it in, stock it, pick it, process it, the orders, and ship it out.
yeah, yeah, I
Andrew,
think
and Andrew noted 98 in Florida corridor is lacking warehouse industrial. They are building warehouses in Colorado like crazy as well. So it must be regional kind of deal.
Yeah, but you
And
have to
size.
understand too, these warehouses have been in the works now for 3+ years. And they've got the approvals and the banking, the funding. And now they gotta build them, right?
yeah. But if you're right about what you're saying with the big beautiful bill, and
That's
that
gonna
money
change.
is, things could change in the next 12 months. And I think that's what, in his case, he was talking about. But as he said, when it comes to the housing market in my region, it's just dried up. If
Yeah,
you're selling 5, 10, $20 million homes, yeah, that makes sense. But if you're below a million, there are just so many on the market overall. But I just wanted to touch on this, and then I want to touch upon transportation real quick. This is the tell sheet 12. This is 12 of Kerry's ideas from his tell sheet and watch list. Just to give you a heads up, I started this July 16th. This is an equal weighting approach, how it's been tallied, equal weighted. Excuse me, June 16th, I started this. It's up 21.08% since then, year to date. If you had started the first year with this,
What are you doing right now? Are you going to
0.98.
be doing a lot of?
June, it was up 29.1, and so far this month, it's up 7.5%. When it comes to positioning, really everything is above my intermediate trend line, so that's a big positive overall. So that's if that's something you have been following since inception of June 16th, it's you've done pretty well overall in it. And let's hit upon transportation, because as you can see, my background here is a picture of the beach that I took at 6:45 Central Time today. And historically, that beach is what we call Rosemary Beach. It's a little community across the street from where I live. And historically, that beach is covered by that time in beach chairs and umbrellas. And that's for the vacationers who come down and, reserve a spot there. But today I noticed there were no beach chairs. There were no beach chair guys putting them up. And I was sort of shocked. I was like, wow, that's sort of shocking. I would expect that to have been very busy. But I think it's a potential, that started my rabbit hole descent into what's happening. And Bob brought up this morning in a group chat I'm on with, he talked about airlines. And so I wanted to hit upon that. This is transportation index. It's a 1 month transportation index going back to April 22. And as you can see, we've been basically, the transportation index is basically trading sideways, but here recently, as of May, this will update here probably in the next couple weeks, has been declining since April, since March, since the first of the year, February, and so on. So that's something to keep an eye on. But when you get to airlines, this is airline fares. This goes back to 89. So you can see airline fares in the ride it's been in. But here recently, starting at January of this year, we've seen airline fares drop, and they're sort of plateauing as of May and June. But we're seeing a decline. And I posted a report that I pulled off of Grok, went in, and I would encourage you guys to take a look at Grok. And I asked, I'll share my prompt with you, how I did it. And where is it? Bear with me. I should move this thing. So this is my prompt was, you're a financial analyst focused on the sector of airline and transportation industry. What information are you finding today about airline bookings? And I posted this on the Discord, a link to it. And I'll post a link here to here in the chat. But this gives you a breakdown of what Grok found as of today, or actually as of probably yesterday, on airlines. And it says you're seeing a recovery in demand. United Airlines highlighted strong rebound in bookings during its Q2 earnings call yesterday, July 17th. Noting that travel demand has normalized after the post-July 4th dip. But the other part of this is that premium, like first class, comfort level on Delta versus economy, there's a major difference. So the first class people are still buying versus the regular Jane and Joe and family traveler are not buying as much. External factors, broader economic signals like Trump's tariffs earlier in the year caused a temporary 6% drop in U.S. airline bookings in April. Overall decline in fares. And I think that overall, that's a big one to me, is when you see airline travel decline, that covers a whole spectrum of travelers. So that's the vacation traveler, that is the corporate traveler, that is the high-end first class traveler, to main cabin traveler. And so as you're seeing a decline in fares, it says airlines are down 3.5% over the past year per NerdWallet's July 2025 travel inflation report, contributing to 1% drop in average travel costs. So that is something to keep an eye on. And we've talked about this for probably over a year, about how the numbers in the economy really don't represent the stock market. And today they don't represent the stock market still. But what we're starting to see is it show up to the surface. And I see it in my area. We are on tourism for the summer. We are down versus last year. As a friend of mine pointed out, who's a retailer in this area, said it's cheaper to go to Europe than it is to come here. So people are going more towards Europe overall. But overall, I think this is one of those things to keep an eye on as we go into the second half of the year, is how is this economic data, in particular consumer data, going to affect the companies that we buy and that we invest in overall. I'll put this report, a link to this report so you can check it out. But that's one of the things as a true well-rounded investor, is to take into account what's happening on an economic scale and how does that affect the companies you're investing in overall. So anyways, that's what I got. We'll open up to the floor for charts and conversation.
Got some charts. I was going to bring this up. You just on your warehousing. Prologis is a huge warehousing REIT.
Yeah, they're big here.
Yeah, and they had earnings the other day, and it 61 cents per share, and it actually beat according to what I read. But you can see what happened to them, and why did this happen? And this again, warehousing, like where Bob's at. So I kind of looked at it. What they did is they had some pretty good numbers, but what they did in guidance was different. They lowered their net earnings guidance. They said there's a rise in vacancy. And then the thing that Bob talked about building, it takes a while to build these to suit and everything. They said timing of when this pipeline, their building pipeline and their inventory pipeline of warehouses will translate into actual leasing, which means revenue, is uncertain. And that, I think, was what probably dumped it.
So can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Prologic's built down by Newark ports. They have built, I think, 6 buildings, and each one of those buildings are 250,000 square feet. They got 1.25 million square feet of space sitting empty for over a year now. That's only one location. I know of other locations. I know in the industrial park I'm in, they have space available here too. So that's why they're giving that forward look that they're expecting impacts from leases defaulting also, because businesses are suffering, and that's really the bottom line, and that's what you're seeing there.
That would be a part of commercial real estate industry, right?
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
commercial.
Yeah. I mean, I
Companies
saw
are
that.
hurting. It's just finally hitting the boards. It's been going on for over a year now. It's this, I'm in the industrial part, and I'm not really that much B2C. I'm more B2B, and that's finally coming to roast,
Yeah, I think you look at the bigger picture, and we still have consumers that are in debt. We have student loans that are now being re-engaged in, and people aren't paying them, or they're losing their credit rating and getting their paychecks taken. We're seeing, like Trent said, first class passengers are still spending, but regular people are trying to look for bargains if they're going to travel. So again, what Trent said, the economy is not the stock market, but that's where we live right now. So, individual stocks and momentum are nice, but you always got to look at the underlying economy, like Bob's telling us from experience, what's going on. And I know, just to throw in my observation, a couple of weeks ago, I came back from Southwest Missouri, came up I-29 through Kansas City, and I saw massively new warehouses along I-29 with vacancy signs, and I thought, wow, there's a lot of vacancy down there, and there's a lot of warehouse hubs there because it's in the center of the country. Tractor Supply's there, SP's there. I mean, there's just a lot of companies there, but there's a lot of warehouse space from what I saw. So anyway, anything else on warehouse or commercial property before we move on?
More to come.
I did see that 2 office buildings sold in Denver for $3.5 million or $1 something a square foot, and they bought those years ago for almost $100 million. So
yeah,
that's still out there, that commercial real estate. So
that was office space though, right?
It was, in Denver. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they're converting a lot of that office space. They're trying to convert it, believe it or not, they're trying to convert it into data centers, is what they're talking about now. So, did you guys see that China submerged their first data center underwater yesterday?
Wow.
Yeah.
You mean it sank?
No, they built the data center. It's going to live underwater and be able to cool using the ocean water.
Huh. Well, I guess we're trying to build one on the moon too. So, for energy.
That'll be powered by the sun, right?
Yeah. Yep. All right. Let me do a couple charts, and we'll get back to anything you want to discuss. LeBron wanted to. This was the one yesterday. I got the symbol wrong. BMNR. And Brian informs me this is the company that Tom Lee is going to be the new CEO of. It's BitMine Immersion Technologies, and I think if I remember right, they're going to do a Ethereum based treasury management strategy in this company. And you saw a lot of excitement back here you look in the volume of 900 shares per day, 150 shares per day. And then when Tom Lee gets involved, 110 million shares, 47 million, 24 million. And it went up, the excitement went up, people chased it, got rug pulled on this day with 22 million shares. And now it's kind of relaxed and we're heading right along the 20 now. So, these are volatile. It's a new industry, Bitcoin, and it's changing fast as we see with all the legislation. But you're seeing a lot of companies get into it, and there's, seems like right now everyone's trying to become a treasury company, or not everyone, but a lot of companies are, to follow what MicroStrategy or Strategy has done, and see if they can go forward with that. So again, I'd be watch this one. This would be on my crypto list just to watch. But right now we're heading sideways. And thanks for bringing that back up, Brian. James wanted NBIS. Is this one on Kerry's list, Trent? I don't know. Nibius. James, we're having a little issue here at 55.43. That's where it's hit resistance 3 or 4 times in a row. It's got some good momentum going up, but the oscillator down here, the MACD, is just crossing over. So until we get past that significantly, and I mean be able to get past up here where the sell orders are and keep going, we're at the top end. This is where I really would have liked to have seen somebody get in, when it gets above the 9 and then above the 50. We had some resistance at the 50, then it took off. It probably had got out here and then it zipped up again. But these are the kind of things I'm looking for. When it gets up to the top, it gets more momentum-ish, and that really doesn't fit my trading plan, but I know it fits a lot of other people's trading plans. So thanks for that, James. Andrew wanted BTOG. Bit Origin. So there's a lot of interest now we're seeing in the crypto space, and it's justified. That's where the news is right now. Again, we're looking here. At least this had like 3 million, 1 million. So it had quite a bit of volume before something hit. And then on the 3rd of July, we started seeing 63 million. Got above it's just flatline right along the intermediate support level. Let me move in here a little bit. See if I can get it a little closer. And then it's taken off. Now you're up right where you're hitting some sell orders at 66 cents. Again, this is considered a penny stock, so be careful. And then you've got the 200 right at 74 cents. So could be a big level of resistance. Let me go back 2 years and see. Oh wow, look at this thing. Way back here in February, this was trading at $8.57, and then it went all the way down, and now we're below $1. So you'd have to get back above this 200. If you got back above the 200, then you've got resistance at $1.96. So keep it on your list and follow your trading plan. On this one, there's a little bit of resistance above it right now, and you had that big old candlestick. Doesn't mean it can't keep rolling, but you got to be aware of resistance. So thanks for that, Andrew. And then we had UEC. Uranium. This starts getting popular. Let's go back year to date and see what's happening with uranium. Let's go back a year. Okay, so I'm gonna move this out a little bit. You can see with uranium, you go back 1, 2, 3 times, we're kind of hitting these resistance levels, and that's where we are again. Again, when you look at these, I kind of like to watch the ones that fall and then raise up. We've looked at this before because obviously I have a channel in here. Then it fell, and then you come back up, and I like to find these like under the 200 and run these up, and then get out. Right now, you're looking at what appears to be, based on resistance above it, the end of this huge run. Now, I'm not saying it can't keep rolling. I don't know what the news is. But you had some really good run on that one. Again, this one would have been nice. You're watching the 200. It tried above the 200, couldn't make it, tried, couldn't make it, and then it just took off. And you see that once in a while. So if you're an investor, that would have been a good time to get in. As a swing trader, would have been a good time to get in. But as a swing trader, it looks like, I would have been out yesterday and taken my profit at $8.30 on that one. And that's what I had before I quit. Okay. Let me look here, airline report. Spruck says, stock market is not the economy. I live in Michigan, close to 2 Canadian borders and shared lakes. Day travel and vacations are way down. People are delaying home buying and extravagances. I'm focused on the market sector stocks to make money, but market's so subject to news and politics than ever. Yep, you're right. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
And then Andrew said car rentals here in Destin, Fort Walton Beach, which is close to where Trent is, are virtually sold out right up to the road, right up the road from Trent. So it might just be the 30A. Travelers are going to
Yeah.
more affordable options or areas.
Who said that? Andrew?
Andrew,
Are you in the area?
Andrew, do you live in that area? Or... See there? Andrew, can you unmute and see there? Some people are shy. I don't see that he's
Okay.
okay. So here, Andrew's here. He's not gonna reply, but
Okay.
so anyway, he agrees with you on that.
He probably went out to take a picture of the beach.
Yeah. Oh, he said yes. He does live in that area.
Oh.
So
Well,
he's your
I'm
neighbor.
probably not that far away from you.
Nope.
Can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
There you go,
Yeah.
Andrew. How you doing?
I just don't know how to unmute very well. I'm not good at this
No,
Zoom
that's good.
stuff.
Welcome
So, yeah, no,
to
I'm right
the voice part of our program.
Oh yeah, no, I'm right up the road. I live on Okaloosa Island between Destin and
Okay.
Fort Walton Beach.
Yeah, I live down in Inlet, so between Panama City and Destin. It's
So
on
are you
the.
seeing a
It's
lot? Are you
closer.
seeing a lot of
Yeah.
tourism in Destin? Then that's a little ways from Trent.
Well, I've only been down here a few years, but it seems like it's a little more hit and miss this year. But yeah, I mean we're packed over here this week. But I also think 30A has a lot of private beach
Yeah.
issues right now. Where
Well, a lot of that went away this week.
oh, did it?
Yeah, Walton County, that's our county. I think you're in Okaloosa County.
Yeah.
They lifted that private beach thing that's been in place for 5 years, and I was out walking today, and there are no private beach signs anymore. So
Oh, I
that
don't.
may help, but I also think price point is there's a difference a little bit, because I know it's ridiculous to rent a place in our area for sure.
Yeah, I mean people for a nice place will still spend $5,000 a week here, but you can spend 15,000 a week there for something similar. So
Yeah, absolutely. So you may be seeing a more of a migration towards your area overall.
yeah, I think Destin's always been busy, but it is more affordable as you get over this way, and you have several nice beaches between Pensacola and Panama City, so they're just not as
Yeah,
expensive.
Madura Beach is really nice there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice
Cool.
area. If
That's
anyone
good to
gets a
know.
chance, go down to Destin. I really enjoyed that area down there. Nice
Yeah.
people too. Yep.
It's a beautiful area for sure.
So
Cool.
anyway, I
Maybe
guess
we'll
the
do
I guess the thing. Go ahead, Trent.
well, maybe we'll do a big meetup kind of thing
We
event.
should. How big's
That
your
would be
house? Can
pretty
we all
cool.
fit in there? Can we all fit in your house?
No.
What about if
It's
the
just
bear
so
eats
much.
a couple of us?
Yeah, right.
It depends how
There's
many.
probably
It
a couple of
depends.
houses that would rent in my neighborhood right now desperately.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, cool. Hey, Mark, I didn't know if there were some more charts you wanted to cover.
I don't see any right now. I don't see any right now.
Okay.
Nope.
So we talked about the warehouse and self-storage a little bit. I pulled
Okay.
up a handful of companies that because I posted a report and I pulled this off Grok. It's a pretty in-depth report on the commercial and self-storage warehouse sector, and you can click that link in the chat. But there's a couple of companies I asked to name, give me some companies that are strong in the self-storage area. And so maybe take a look at some charts there.
Sure. Want me to pull that up? Like
Yeah.
public storage is probably one of them.
Yeah. So yeah, PSA is one of
Yep,
them.
right here. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty sideways.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's come down since May. It's come down. I don't see earnings yet. Earnings here,
Yeah.
204 a share. So yeah, what else you got?
Cube, CUBE.
Q E
This is
U B E.
no cube as in like
Oh,
a
cube. Cube. CUBE.
yeah, yeah, similar
Okay,
thing.
Cube.
Yeah.
Cube Smart.
Yeah, nothing much.
Yeah.
Interesting. Extra storage space, EXR. Out of Salt Lake. Same thing.
Isn't it
Yeah,
kind of sideways?
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of these companies pay out a dividend, so that could be a
Plus,
plus,
a lot
but
of
it
these,
looks like
a lot of these are more consumer oriented, right? So if I'm moving or I got a lot of junk like you had, and you just those are kind of like that. So these might actually do
yeah,
better if people are moving or have to downsize.
yeah. There's another one, Self, SELF.
I've actually looked at this one before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Global
And
self-service. Yeah. This one's been bouncing off to 200. Let's go back a little ways and see what it does. Oh yeah. Had a little bit of
yeah,
trouble here and got above it. Bounce, bounce.
interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder what caused that move
I don't know. I
back
don't
in
know.
May.
But you're right. There are dividends in these. This one's seven cents a share. So it's a
Yeah,
small stock. Earnings are 5 cents a share. It's giving away 7. Interesting.
yeah. And then one more, SMA.
SMA.
Yeah,
Smart
yeah,
Stop self-storage. So this one here, let's go back 2 years. Take a look at this one. Nope, maybe it doesn't go back 2 years. No, it doesn't have a 200-day moving average. So this is fairly new, it looks like.
yeah.
Let's see the volume. Volume's pretty low on that one. Yep.
Look at U-Haul. UHAL. This gives you a sign of what is are people moving kind of thing. No. Huh?
Let's go back even further.
Yeah. I
It's
remember what
kind of,
about two, huh?
yeah, it's kind of like, what is this back here? This is October of
23.
23. Man, that went nuts, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then we started here in July of 24. So summer,
Yeah.
here. But since then, it's been kind of down and to the right.
Yeah. We'll go back to 2020. I'm just curious.
This is yeah, this switch this 2020 is right.
Probably right where that
It's
big
right
dip
here.
is.
Yeah.
Look at what money coming into the system did for U-Haul.
Yeah.
That's, interest rates went to zero, U-Haul took off. If Powell is replaced and Trump drops Trump has an influence on dropping rates, you could see these kind of companies explode again.
Do you know what else happened here, Trent?
What's
Is
that?
with the pandemic, people work from home, and a lot of people said, "I'm going to move to Idaho or Colorado since I don't have to live in Virginia or New Jersey anymore." And
Yeah,
I think that helped a lot.
yeah. I remember the one way was a year ago. We went out to Spokane and I was pricing U-Hauls. We were going out there for a show for Ginger, and it was cheaper to go one way than round trip
Yeah.
because what Seattle needed more U-Hauls, or excuse me, Spokane needed more U-Hauls than we did in our area. So more people were moving out of Seattle, Spokane at the time, or moving around. I think it's just an example of what the consumer is doing or how they're thinking. But it also, if what our projections are with this new beautiful bill and what impact it could have on the economy, as well as if we see a change in interest rates in the next 12 months. These may be companies that could be on that list of opportunities in the coming 12 months. I know that's far out, but it's something to think about, and it demonstrates how sector rotation really comes into play.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always keep an eye on housing because housing always is kind of a leading edge. If that starts to slow, everything slows. Like Bob said, carpet in your roofing, your appliances, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
Well, that's
cover
about
BBAI?
BBAI. No, let's take a look.
Oh, that's the one Esther bought. Or
Yep.
the rocket.
All right, let me get to it right here. Yeah, it is kind of a rocket. And let me go back. Let's go back a year on this one. Yeah, that one rocketed before and then took a dumpster, but came back on the 200 and found some support after a few days. And ever since then, here's your Paul Tudor Jones world, and here's your swing trade world right here. If you could have got in above the 9 over here at this point, at 405, it's rocketed up, having resistance up here at 872. So just be careful. We've done this before. So we'll see if we do it again. This could almost be a double top coming up. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's had a nice run. I like to try to find them here instead of up here. But it just depends on how you trade and what your trading plan is,
Yep.
So
All right.
it's almost the weekend. Woo-hoo.
It is the weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it isn't.
Almost, I said.
we have Kerry's call at 3 p.m. today. A link will go out if you didn't get it on your newsletter this morning. There will be a link that will go out at 2 Central, as well as a reminder around 2:45 Central Time. So, and also you can log into it via the Discord. There's a link there as well. But if there's nothing else, we'll wrap it up and we'll proceed into the trading day.
All right. Good luck, guys.
Let's
Gals.
see.
All right.
Bye.
You all have a good weekend.
Yep.
And we'll see
Thank you,
you at
everyone.
3 o'clock.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.